my shop, now my shop. Chairman, yeah man. One in my lawyer, Nisha lawyer, Nije, and I think I throat, yeah, I'm quite on there. What I need, if I were get I have a baby. They're trying to watch it, my guess I saw. She more than any, Boba, Yan, you won't be in the court. Or fair with that, you will soon be not done and go back. Yeah, come on, Jamaja, where when you feel when you will feel. You could make tea at your back to no fan or your fame or the Chief of Staff of the Manchester Palace, elders, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to welcome you this morning to the Manchester Palace as we bring you the much-awaited launch of Homowo UK 2024. As we all do know by protocol, there are a few things that we normally do when we come together as a family. That is committing everything we're doing here into the hands of the Lord. To help us do this afternoon, I'd like to welcome to the microphone Reverend Dr. Jacob Tetekwashi, who is one of the aides in the Government Court. Shall we welcome him with applause?
Thank you very much. Please, as far as Obama, the question that they play, Homowo, who believe that I'm going to be named never watch you, I will let you one. You will people the job or what Pierre was no one of African if you money, hang on, and then what you will be supposed to buy. Amen.
You, Reverend Dr. Jacob Tetekwashi, who you are doing, if I didn't have what I would have. Then you want to was there, walk at Nichumon, only a share by a channel. Yamaka Soloy, Bear, if a Yeliake, care woba, in a care. You were up with me, or actually to some credit, yeah, Kamacha way. What can we more know? You don't need what a sure. She academic back, or yeah, boy, come on you make who need if I went to the man say, the Ikume whom go to the man say, walk. The cat or Yano Babo, or they couldn't walk a blow for a waffle. Couldn't Amen, only wash. Couldn't Kewa Mehiwale, ni Amena make a second remove them. Abefita, Itake, Kawuele, it you would walk. You better need or I challenge more, no, much more, much G, or buy Kumari. The J and fair, she knew I know, Bakoni, what she would back my money. The cat Iba Comanche, where Mamma Paconi, a core fame, or fame, or your beer, or fair, keke, yeah, here, but what they were here, keke, where whoever what they were, getting it drawn, whoever it drawn. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the Chief of Staff of the Manchester Palace, Justice Julia Ajay Amwa. Please put your hands together. I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of the Director of Events and Related Matters in the Manchester Court. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Madame Koko Amatefiu. I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of the initiator of the idea of celebrating war in the UK. Everything that has to do with this year's celebration of this great festival is her brainchild, together with the rest of the team, and she is the lead on this project. Manye, to do so in the second. As we go along, I'll continue to acknowledge the presence of some of our guests and persons who are joining us for this news conference to outdoor to the rest of the world, starting a process of the build up to this year's Homowo Festival for this launch of Homowo 2024. Dani wabacha wanichumono. When you know where be any the who they are fit no nature. She be done a go back be the who be ye boni you can be more for she make a feel lala you can feel wimo the fair a flat gentleman ke wokusun ke wopli massage fair figure for poetry. Ladies and gentlemen, to give us a poetry performance to start off this launch, I'd like to welcome up here the one and only Ni Kwadi Tre. I can't hear the applause. We've got many poets in the country. We pay our respects to them. And one of the things that I admire about Ni Kwadi Tre is the fact that he has specialized in Gadangwe poetry. And this is something that is a point of pride for every Gadangwe in every part of the world. Once again, I present to you Ni Kwadi Tre.
Open say, wanya nyewe ya benreji open say, wanya nyewe open say, okonipa, pense akweto kulu, pense tabia piaje, wanya nyewe ya benreji open say, wanya nyewe ya benreji Ameke diablochi ekenukuba. Kameke takita yatia ekenukuba. Oh, kame nakane yo. Game nakano ameyo. Shimwe bako ablochi ya enya. Bako enya. Blema kwe. Akele bani na weye. Shimene kakedamwe kele u eshi tontoja. Take it belly. Kaya bloji kan nanglish. E jacket. E bini o ngesi ka amenu. We play pa. Me wonu ka eni chile amenu we ba. No ka no ye hia abahame eku ye jeme. Na won ni takita ko turi ji enyo. Safe kongo. E se kata manso. Ike ko eyin e ko ese. Amentu ablochi tamia kama ke blema ko yeba shishi wo ba ke shishi wo ba ke minche wo bi ni yo ni wo amena kienya wo ga ke da be fe ba ya ablochi ameya ka wanya kwa ameya ke minche ameya ko sun fe mo ameya ke dile Oni jenfe ana aliyake ga eko papa ebu eko blema ko bana de je nakaidon wo eko inani e fa inani ni ebi ke nabi ke shwai les ka ablochiye amena yinya amena se ko mu akena akesi bomo efe wo on ablochi amu abashia nyane bi akasenga nyomo wase ameka ke worry me jamais lega mo fe wona mi mo bele bi ko ke mo shishida o kan ke dia ko kwa mi ke na sa sa afia ke mene o fe wona eche no e na papa ni baga ta ni manyaba ya a che kwa mi nu ni ngba ji ni kwa ni
Anyway, your father, you have what I want to Wimo Ingo, the Keji, Avieni, Akebote, Chile, Kenwood, Be Ingo, Iteki. Your father, you have what I want. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good friends and loved ones, we're bringing you the live coverage of Homowo UK 2024 from the courts of the Gamanches Palace here in Accra. We're grateful and glad that all of you are joining us from various parts of the world and are taking a decision ahead of time to join us in London for the celebration of this great festival, which goes to address a very major need in our lives or in humanity. At this time, we'll carry on and bring you more, but at this time, we'd like to once again say a very big welcome to all of our friends who have joined us here, especially to every single media house giving us massive support for the rollout of this launch, which will start the build-up officially to the launch of Homowo, or the execution of Homowo 2024 in the United Kingdom. At this time, I would like to welcome up here the lead for the organizing team to let us into it. But before we get into all of those details, it's my pleasure to bring here the head and the director of events for the Kamanche, Madam Koko Amatefiu, to officially welcome us. Shall we put our hands together?
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, distinguished guests, all observed, on behalf of HRM, His Royal Majesty, Kentucky Deco II, I wish to welcome all of you. I wish to welcome our friends here from the UK. I wish to welcome our friends and family here from Switzerland. I wish to welcome our friends and family from the US. And I wish to welcome all of you who are sitting at home and watching this live, and all of those who are going to converge to London in October to be part of this award. It's always been the wish of our boss, His Royal Majesty, to unite the Gaddafi family, no matter where they are. We started with those here, and now we are joining hands with those out there, because together we are able to lift ourselves up from poverty, from hunger, from illiteracy. And that is why we are here. Again, I welcome you and I thank you so much for coming and being with us. And now, to tell you what is going to happen in England, I cannot tell you. We have people here who can tell you better than me. So thank you very much again for being here.
We're very grateful to you, Madam Koko Amatefiu. Madam Amateoko Amatefiu, also known as Antioko Amatefiu. Please put your hands together for her. Well, just like athleticism, we do realize that many people eventually end up by their aliases or other informal names that we all refer to them by. And I believe that Ante Amateoko is following in that space. Let's also remember very well that she is a very big functionary when it comes to classical music and its evolution here in Ghana. And she runs some of the most successful orchestras and choirs in Ghana in recent history in the last 20 to 30 years. Shall we do a big round of applause for her? Nyame small Henny Wakanichumo is share or ask money at when I walk where you will feature Libya, you will lay one eye, Boni Kusu and Ayale, Iha, ye Abluchi, Niki UK, but Moboni, one year Ike war. Gafeche, Niji King Takite Kuchu, Niji Nyon. Ejino Konika, Ichuinoa, Ake Ibasmo, ni Gadangu with Kuefe, Apa, ni Gadangu with Kuefe, Afe Ekume. Ni walk away here, you will fair way out here. Koni Nichumo, can he be ni a king make here, 1 year or fair what taya, he will fair walk a small, Kekume Fimo, Ayawa here. You 1 year, whatever will be, to Wanabi, Koni, or Gadangwe, a domshi, you will bear your number. A 25 she ake affine, a bas money, a funny, a catch, manchame. Wanyame, wikume, wanyame, wabi, wanabi, ni befa, e baame, ishwi, ikume. alo iba me hwe sort ye jile ko na me fe ameba ni wona abakpe ye United Kingdom ni UK ko ni wonye wotu na kani tumone ni wo fe ne ke komo wo kusum ne le fi fel ni fe gbe na wo ke no ko mu mbe wo hie ake no wo fe wo ba ni wo ba fe e ko me e hia ake wo ke no ko mu an wo hie ko ni ke wo gbe ne kani tumone na wo de ake ni wo gbe Homowo 2024 na eleke energy no ni wo hie wo so ye no ni eleke energy no ni wo ke me wo hie ni wo anye wo fe mi wo anye wo tu ni wo ke sa wo ka ni wo ke sa wo ka dan ko ni wo fe e ko be ni no ya aba ka dan ni ba yo benye fa ne hini wo ke ni tumo ihye wo asmo wo che wo npa e ko me ko ni da mu bi mo ni ka hye ni e ka ba ni hye. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time it's a good time for us to get into the details of Homowo 2024 in the United Kingdom and all other activities that will make up this grand celebration, which has a very historic twist. Before that, however, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the family of the late Abulamani, who is one of our very own. Shall we put our hands together for him? Our hearts go out to you, and do know that King Takite True and his inner court, his elders, the chief priest, and all are with you in spirit and will continue to support you to ensure that the Abulamani, the late Abulamani, is given a fitting burial, because they are all parts of the very big setup here in the traditional area. Jamakenyeme, Benny Wayafen, Ebe, or Jamek Wayame, Uni, Ameto Amese, was Monida, Ebe, or Sonny Wahab, or Be, or Yeme, Niki, or Abulamani, ni choice, Ibi, Ke, Ibukume, Mui Babie, Amu, Amababa, Uni, Amekame, Iwaneke, Amehiwane, Kawachiwa, Ise, Unichumo, Ayabe. Ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media, at this time I'd like to welcome up here the lead on the project. I'm talking about Homowo UK 2024 to address us and give us perspective to this big celebration. Manye na Tucho Soyu the second.
Thank you very much. Welcome. Think if you make a mansion on say at Blashin is an income. Or anti-bubble, a chief staff, media, thank you very much for coming. I would like to start by acknowledging and thanking His Majesty for allowing us to use the premises for this press conference. And also, obviously, he's coming to the UK. It's a historical event, and so to thank him for agreeing to attend. I'd also like to acknowledge my UK team. They've been working incredibly hard, and they're watching us. And I would like to say I equal to them and to thank them. And also the GAR team, who have been working equally as hard. Everything you see here has been their doing. So thank you for accommodating this and for doing such a wonderful job. I'm acknowledging the Trowbridge Foundation, my partners in crime. They're actually, we have Mr. George Latte, the team here. They're actually helping to organize elements of the event in the UK, and I'll come to that in a moment. And then I would like to acknowledge the UK High Commission to Ghana and the High Commissioner. They're partnering with us to facilitate the event and attendance of it. Also the Ghana High Commission in the UK, to the UK and Ireland, for their support in facilitating again the travel and some of the logistics around it. I'd also like to acknowledge the UN team in the form of UNESCO, who are partnering with us as well, and I'm sure they're here to support. So thank you. Now, I will start by saying, as I said earlier, that this is a historical event. This would be the first time ever that a sitting Gamanche would join us in the UK to celebrate Homowo. And to put it in context, we've been doing this since 2010. And so I'm sure most people are excited, and I am incredibly excited for this to be happening at this time. What's going to happen? So Homowo itself kicks off on the 26th of October. We are going to have the event at the old Greenwich Town Hall, which is Borough Hall in Greenwich. It's a very popular landmark. It's a 500 plus capacity. And so we expect to be at capacity and overflow in anticipation of His Majesty's attendance. We expect the team to arrive by the 24th of October, where we will have a team on standby to receive His Majesty and everybody else that he's coming with. On the 26th, we'll celebrate Homowo, and we intend to replicate what happens in Ghana as much as possible in terms of tradition, in terms of culture. But Homowo, according to His Majesty's mission, is assuming a more purposeful approach. So normally we celebrate Homowo, and it's a telling of the story of our sojourn from what I believe to be Egypt, the Exodus, the famine, and rooting at hunger. But we want to align it to a purpose. And for the first time, under the leadership of His Majesty, what we're doing is aligning it to the Sustainable Development Goal 2, which is ending hunger. And this is where the UN comes in. We're working closely with UNESCO to ensure that we can align it to the Sustainable Development Goal 2 and have an approach where we initiate projects to help alleviate hunger in Ghana and also work with the UK government in that regard. And so assuming a purpose means that we expand the scope of Homowo. It's no longer just a cultural celebration. It's going to be a celebration that has an identity. We also want to tell the world that Ghana does not have a homogeneous cultural identity. Often when we hear of festivals, it has one dimension, and that's okay because we're all Ghanaians. But we want to tell the story of Homowo in a way that resonates to people, the spirituality of it, the tradition of it, but also the purpose of it, and that's why we're organizing this event. Additionally, we would be hosting other fringe events in honor of His Majesty. On the 27th, which is the day after Homowo, there would be a Gadangwe Fellowship Church service, Thanksgiving Church service, and His Majesty will be the special guest of honor at that event. And then, on the 29th of October, we are hosting a business forum at the UK House of Lords. Now, again, this is history. This would be the first time that a sitting Gamanche has entered the House of Lords, but also to facilitate a business forum and engage in inviting inward investment to the Ghana state. We want to tell the Ghana story in a positive way. And so we'll have the weight of UK big business and the weight of Ghanaian big business who would attend. And we have 5 key areas within which we want to target. On the 3rd of November, we will be hosting a national, the Christian Council UK will be hosting a national Thanksgiving service in His Majesty's honor. Again, we expect a really good turnout, and that includes denominations across, Christian denominations across the UK, both Ghanaian and international. We would also, on the 7th of November, be hosting, we would also host a Mawala the Saturday after the Homowo. That would be the 2nd. Mawala brings together the Gadangwe community in the UK to interact with His Majesty, and the chiefs and Queen Mothers will be attending his entire team. So we'll do that. And on the 5th of November, we are going to host a private reception for about 150 people in the UK Parliament, so the House of Commons. The Lords is, separate from the Commons, so we'll be hosting a private reception in UK Parliament on behalf of His Majesty. He would have the opportunity to interact with the Ghanaian community leadership and also African leadership, and hopefully some good outcomes will arise out of that interaction. He will be hosted then by the leadership of the Ahmadiyya community on the 7th of November. That is incredibly significant because in terms of education, first of all, the Ahmadi community in Accra referred to His Majesty as their landlord, which he is. But also in terms of education, they do very well. If you are familiar with the Ahmadi community, you would know that some of the best scholars are part of the religion. And so they will be hosting His Majesty where a discussion around mutual interests, a discussion around his peace campaign, calling for peace for the elections, as well as in general, will be had. But also they will tease out mutual beneficial interests, I suppose mostly around education. It is anticipated then that after that we would have some social events. I wouldn't go too much into that. We'll have a couple of days of social events, sightseeing, people doing shopping, etc. Part of the team will leave a lot earlier. Not every member that's traveling with His Majesty will be part of all these events. So around between the 29th and the 30th, most of the team will return. And the core group of people will then carry on for the Lord's event and then the Commons event and also the Ahmadiyya event. So in a nutshell, this is what the plan is. I want again to thank the team in the UK. We have been meeting non-stop every week, twice a week. And it has been, with whatever the challenges, they've been up to the task. And I would like to, again, especially thank them. And to thank the media, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. But before we go, let me acknowledge my family who came here to support me too. Thank you so much. They're always with me in whatever I do. But yes, do you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I think there's someone in the back. Who's going to facilitate for us? Oh yes, hello.
Yo, Chalagene, be noni manye soyo chuchu, wie diake, be afine, ejinokuni, afine ejinokuni wana buda, diake, kafe cheniji, king takite kuchu nijenyo, jikawache, ike mancheme ke ibiku me baba. Na baba ne be nichmo agonika wohie aloni bi kume nika etui no de basumo ni achunku ni akechi dadangu ye kaya hie kume jino ni wa fe UK ni beje no be ke ibina ike House of Lords bana shitamo ke ibina hunwe ike House of Commons bana shitamo no se ike Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission. Niji Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission. Ame nupa ni yo UK. Ame hu ikabana shita mo kepe. Ikagone kagona le huwe abaya shita so. Wobe inefe wonyoni wogote bine ke wonyoni baba. Leke nichumo inefe wachu ye Homowo 2024. Homowo UK 2024. Wobe bia na hini wo share wa gbelebe kuni onyemme arafeta loe keni maloe keni shaloe ke uye sani kuno basmo ubi yani chumo ni wo chumo ye kuni ukenoshi kuna bene onye boya onye. We're now open for questions. Please indicate the name of your media house and go ahead with your questions. Thank you very much.
All right, my name is distinguished guests. members of the press. A lot has been said, so I don't have to say much. Thank God we have a very eloquent MC, and to make sure he says everything, there's nothing to be said. And what I'm going to say is, I want to acknowledge once again the initiator of this program, Soyo. She has done an immense job. She has done a yeoman's job. Even the conceptualizing the project is a lot. And I want us to give her a standing ovation. You have heard from Nat that this is not just an ordinary Homowo. It's a Homowo to end hunger in line with the SDGs to the UN. And also the AU. You heard about his foundation. And if you know about the foundation, part of the foundation is really to make sure that the Gandangwe people will end hunger and we develop and we also move along with the sustainable development goals. So you thank you very much. And we are all looking forward for a successful program. And it is not going to be easy, but with our support and our prayers, we are going to make it. And on the 12th of November, His Royal Majesty will return with a lot of bags and with good news. So thank you very much. Thank you all very much. Yes. And now the Soyo is going to acknowledge some of our sponsors. After that, we'll go hands and formally launch the Grand Homowo UK 2024. Acknowledge our sponsors.
So we have contacted a team of people who will form part of the business team that goes with His Majesty. And I would like to acknowledge Exim Bank, ABSA Ghana, CBG Bank, bear with me, very active, and SNIT, GRA, ADB Bank, Graphic Corporation, Core Construction, and Oswald Investment, also SIC Life, Engineers and Planners, Springfield Energy, and some Journal Capital. Once again, and McDan Group. McDan Group have been incredibly supportive, so I want to give a special mention to them. Once again, to thank the UNESCO team, our media partners, Royal TV, and all of you that are here, Bono, Kofi TV, etc. We thank you so much. I would also like to thank, in terms of support, Trailbridge Foundation again, who are working with us. And once again, my team, thank you so much. I'm incredibly proud of your achievements so far.
And so now, on behalf of His Royal Majesty King Takite Gutru,